All right, Gemini, welcome to June. Welcome to the summer. I am very glad that you are here, present and accounted for. I would like to say I appreciate all my Gemini twins out there, those that I know I have. I'm always around Libras and Geminis. I don't know why. But at any rate, I'd like to do a shout out for you all. So this go round for the summer, I am going to be reading from the Earthcraft cards, and I'm also going to do a medicine wheel reading from the Mystical Shaman Oracle for you all, just to get some groundation, see where we are. This is midway, the midpoint of the year. Why wait until the end of the year to think about what you want, take the mid-year to think about it, and then also to take the mid-year to make an assessment of where you are and where you want to be, what you want to do, what makes sense to you, what works, okay? All right. Oh, lots of cards for you here. Y'all like Sagittarius, lots of cards for you all in Sagittarius. Anything else for Gemini for the summer months, all the way up until fall equinox? Nope, that's it. Well, that's enough. It's a whole lot on here. All right, let's see what you have. Let's see what you have. Let's see how this all works together. Seeing a lot of the same cards over and over again this go round. The first one I'm going to bring up is abundance. I've been talking to everybody about abundance, so I'm going to talk to you about it too. Abundance is something that a word that we use a lot. You see it out there. I want to get my abundance. I'm trying to tap into my abundance. I'm trying to bring in my abundance. And most of the time, what we're thinking about or what goes to in our mind is our bank account or our pocketbook or something that we want. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. No judgment, right? But abundance from a natural standpoint represents that which you have a lot of already, that which you possess a lot of, that you could give freely without thinking about it and feel like you would never run out. That's abundance. When you think about a seed that's planted in the ground that then grows into, I don't know, a tree with fruit or vegetables or something, and then you have all these many fruits from one seed. And then inside the fruit are many seeds. So you can take all of those fruits off the tree and dry them out and have all these seeds. And now from one seed, you have so many seeds that you're giving them away. Here, have some apple seeds here. You become Johnny Appleseed all of a sudden, okay? So that's the idea of abundance where we want to start, because if you're going to tap into your abundance, you have to see where your abundance already is. Because if you're trying to seek abundance outside of yourself, then it's always somewhere else. It's not here. So it's always good to start with yourself and what you have an abundance of and see it as abundance. And then you'll know you're already abundant. And then when you're already abundant, when you already feel abundant, then you'll draw more abundance to you. And that's the idea. Okay? All right, so some of you guys are taking a spiritual journey. The very first card that came out, though, was balance. And I thought that was interesting because you all, we're talking about Gemini and we're thinking about the two sides of Gemini. So it looks like the summertime is an important time for you to get in touch with both sides of yourself, Gemini, those two sides that drives everyone else crazy. You need to get in and own it and own it, okay? Get in there and own it, okay? So this is going to be a spiritual journey for some of you. You all are on your way through that at this time. This is a journey of heart. So your heart is very important. That which your heart knows, that which your heart feels, that which your heart is willing to accept, okay? Accepting your gifts. This is a part of this. Balancing and getting both sides of yourself connected. Okay, so it is going to pull on your heartstrings now. Gemini, you are an air sign and you like to remain closely tied to your intellect and your mind. You like the way your mind works and you lean on it, which is great because You need to sometimes. But this time, you are going to have to search your heart. This time, you're going to have to deal with some emotional aspects of yourself and your emotions and how you feel about something, not just what you think. With Gemini, their mantra is I think. But now you're going to stretch yourself a little bit into I feel, okay? So whenever you start dealing with your relationships, or you're dealing with other people, or you're dealing with an emotionally charged situation or something that causes you to emote in a certain way, I want you to take a pause and pay attention to how you're feeling and where those feelings come from. So this is where your mind and your feelings can work together, because you feel the feeling and then you ask yourself good questions like, why do I feel this way? Where did this come from? When did this start for me? Where does this anger come from? Where does the sadness come from? Where does the joy come from? You know, so whatever it is, you're getting in touch with that. Okay. Part of the spiritual journey for some of you is that you are discovering the inner healer in you. And this is really great, because that means that you are able to heal yourself. And when you heal yourself, then you can be available to help heal others. But until you do that work, there's still a need for this. This is a part of this. Okay. So you're taking your spiritual journey, you're finding your inner healer, you're bringing balance to yourself by going in and dealing with those both sides and accepting the gifts that come from it, because I guarantee you, for some of you, those gifts are where the abundance actually lives and relies. I'm sure of it. I don't have much question about that. All right, so we've got darkness here. To me, this goes with this, okay? Because again, when we are talking about both sides of ourselves, and people talk stuff about Geminis because they're like, oh, they got these two sides. Well, everybody has two sides, right? Gemini knows how to access it very easily, okay? So since you are able to access those two sides, now all you have to do is deal with that part that you don't want to deal with, the part that you've been hiding, the part that you're afraid to bring out. All of that is a part of what we call darkness. Darkness isn't bad. It's just that which there is no light in, right? And there's a spectrum with that, okay? So we're not talking about that necessarily unless that's an issue for you. And if that's the issue, if you're in a dark place, you're there for a reason. It's there for you to explore and ask those good questions of, or else go to someone who can help you ask those questions, i.e. a therapist, okay? So it's important to do that work, okay? That is also going to be tied to this, because until you can fully embrace this and bring this to balance, which is to say that you have dealt with this and you have accepted the best of who you are on this spiritual journey, then you will heal. You'll begin to heal. You will have a transformation, transforming with the raven and the crow and the corvid. Been in COVID too long. The corvid family of birds are associated with being able to see both sides, to see both the spiritual side as well as the physical side, and to be able to navigate between the two. Yet another spiritual journey to take. Okay? So pay attention to the winds. The winds are very important because the winds are things that are felt, sometimes heard, but mostly felt but not seen, okay? So you need to go and connect with the wind energy. The wind energy should be familiar to you because the wind is associated with air, and the air is the air sign. So it's this balance that we're talking about, this balance between the mental and the emotional, this balance between the two sides of yourself, all of that is going to help you get to the answers that you need to get to, and also help you tap into your specific brand of abundance, okay? And it's specific. Everybody's abundance is not the same. Some of them are similar. Like you may have the same kind of abundance as somebody else, but no two are alike. It's just like a fingerprint. All right, I'm headed to the Mystical Shaman for you, Gemini. Looking for 5 cards that will give us an idea of how to move, or give Gemini an idea of how to move and maneuver through the summer. Best practices, best workflows for Gemini. I'm pulling 5 cards, one from the south, one for the center, one for the south, the west, the north, and the east. Okay. And the last one is the East Gate. East Gate for Gemini, please. There we go. All right. Beautiful. All right. At the very center, we have the blade. This is also a symbol of the air signs. If you go to tarot, the blade or the knife or the sword represents the air. And so you are represented here as the blade. Usually we associate the blade with truth because it cuts both ways. It's 2 sides to a blade, okay? It's sharp on both sides, so that which you use to cut can also cut you. So it's important to be in a place of truth right now, Gemini, with yourself. That means no denials about who you are and what you do and how you like to move and maneuver. It's also no judgment per se, except for the judgment on that which is going to be done, okay? In the south, you have the ancient ones, and so you are learning about that through that spiritual journey that we talked about before. The ancients, so they're coming up twice for you here as a part of this. So you're going to have to center yourself, and you're going to have to find yourself in that place again where your mind is clear. You're not using your mind when you're connecting with spirit. Because if you use your mind, then you'll be talking to yourself, which is okay. But what you're trying to do is to hear in the spirit, which means that your mind, your thoughts, your opinions, your attitudes, your customs, your mores have to be stopped for a while so that you can become a clear vessel and hear. In the recent past, some of you, this is the Wild Woman card, but it doesn't matter. It's just being able to fully be free and be yourself. That's been a very important part of your journey, actually, because being able to just be free and unfettered can help you with that balance part. It can help you find that place where the mind isn't so overactive, but you're just allowing yourself to spontaneously be. So that's what they're talking about there, is being spontaneous, and your ability to be spontaneous, being a good experience teacher for you, or teacher of experiences, the teacher of experience. In the north, we have the Rainmaker, which is really an important character if we are welcoming in this abundance place. You have the ability in your upper wisdom, in your highest wisdom place, and I do mean your highest wisdom place, you have the ability to bring in that which you desire, that which you want, that which you need. You are the Rainmaker, but you have to be at your highest spiritual space in order to do that, which is why you're going through all of this, right? You can't skip it. You can't skip. There's no skipping grades. There's no extra credit here. If you're failing, you can't do an extra credit and then get over it. It doesn't work like that, because when you get to this level of attainment, it's very important for you to act with integrity. That's a part of the blade teaching. It's also important for you to understand where your abundance comes from and understand yourself on all fronts, because that's how people get into a sticky wicket when they want what they want when they want it, but they haven't done that work. And then they end up with what they want and it's a disaster for them. And you don't want that. You don't want to have regrets about getting what you want. So you have to know really what you want, and you have to know what you want and what you want that's in alignment with your truth. Okay? So that's why this work is here. And it's here for everybody. It's not just you. Because just about everybody, I just got finished saying to Taurus that this card has come up for just about every single zodiac sign this month or this time for this season. So what that tells me is that we are, for the most part, with the exception of a couple of zodiac signs, we are all focusing our attention on this. And it's not just about what you want. It is part of what you want. What you want is a part of this. It's a significant part of it. But the other part is understanding the abundance that you already have. Because otherwise it will always be something that you're going to be grasping at, and you don't realize that it's within. And when that happens, you'll always be grasping. You're always going to be grasping. And you can ask some people who have attained and who have gotten to a certain level of success, and they feel like they can't stop, or they feel like they can't. If I stop, then something's going to happen, and they just keep going and going and going. Next thing you know, you read about them on the news, having to go to the hospital for exhaustion and everything else. At a certain point, you have to know when to balance yourself out and when to cease. Okay? And part of that is understanding that the abundance comes from it. It's you got to tap in with it. It's not out here. Therefore, you don't have to grasp at it. All right. Last card of the day, and last card for me, period, until the fall, is the Moon card. Pay attention to the Moon. This is for everybody. This is for everyone. I think it's interesting that the first card that I pulled, the very first card for this was for Cancer, and theirs was the womb. And the very last card that I'm pulling for Gemini is the Moon. And so this a connection to our grandmother Moon, this connection to the feminine, this connection to a womb space, regardless of whether you carry a womb or not, going into your womb space to heal, to rest, to quiet your mind, to feel embraced and nurtured and fed, to be able to be in the dark but still feel comfortable and confident in yourself and not be afraid, not have fear. These are very, very powerful teachings of the Moon, because the Moon lights our night. She is a reflection of the sun. And her cycles, her moods, her movement moves the waters of the earth and also moves the waters within ourselves. And so it stirs up this whole host of emotions that now have to be cleansed, that have to be answered for, answered to, embraced, all of it. So take this summer and connect with your moon. Pay attention to the full moons and the new moons. Pay attention to when the moon calls you personally. And it might not be on the full moon. It might not be on the new moon, but it might just be whenever. That's okay. That's your personal communication with the grandmother. She needs to talk to you. Okay? All right, Gemini, if you need to reach out to me, you can find me at info@wooingnature.life. You can also find me on Facebook. Please check out the Facebook page. Some of you all, if you want to see weekly, I don't know, not just advice, but there's other things on there, things about herbs and teas and ways to heal yourself and ways to think about things and little updates and that kind of stuff. You can reach out to me there. As always, I hope you have a great day, and I hope you're having a wonderful life.